Alicia, and I am a part of the Connecting Dreams Foundation team. I welcome everybody, including Pille, to the Changemaker 20 Summit. Today, we have gathered here not to merely mark an occasion, but to unite for a higher purpose. This Changemaker 20 Summit aims to forge connections beyond boundaries and celebrate the potency of collaboration. It's about charting new territories, confronting global challenges, and uniting under the banner of a positive change. Today, we are here for this very interesting masterclass by Pille. The masterclass will be on the HLPF Proceedings on Sustainable Developments in New York. And Pille, I extend a hearty welcome to the Changemaker 20 Summit. This is the second session of yours, and we are very grateful that you're here for multiple sessions with us. A little bit about Pille. Pille has nearly 20 years of experience in the domestic violence field, helping to start the first women's shelter in Estonia in 2002. Since 2011, she has led the expansion of the shelter as the Women's Support and Information Center, which carries out research and international projects in domestic violence and related areas such as cyberbullying and sexual harassment. She currently serves as President of Women Against Violence Europe WAVE Network, the largest organization of its kind in Europe, and she also has lectured around the world on this topic and empowerment of women in general. Thank you so much, Pille. Your participation and your contribution to the Changemaker 20 Summit will definitely push towards a more gender equitable world, which is currently an SDG for the world. But I hope that we strive together towards actually realizing that goal. So yes, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alicia. So yes, I was introduced a little bit, and I think there is no more about me or myself needed to talk. And when we discussed how to set up this particular workshop, then I thought it is going to be just me explaining based on my experience what and how can one either person or group of community or NGO benefit from high-level political forum, or what is it in general. So high-level political forum, so I share some links. So high-level political forum is event that is happening annually, and it is run by United Nations, and it is to check where countries are in sustainable development goals. If you don't know, sustainable development goals are 17 different goals that states who are participating in UN have agreed to meet goals to ensure that world is going on sustainably, and these goals have to be met by 2030. So there are different ones. I warmly invite you to look at the UN HLPF webpage to make yourself comfortable with what goals there are and what are particularly your personal interest, because the next stage is what I'm talking about. Helps you to figure out which groups you should join if you want to have the voice in this level. So usually high-level political forum happens annually in July. As you see, this year it was 10th to 19th July. It was my third one where I participated, and for 2 years now it has been face-to-face event. First one that I participated was online, but also because we are, due to COVID, we are used to do online work. People and organizations who cannot afford to participate face-to-face, who do not have funds, can actually have their say and can interact with other civil society members also online, which is very beneficial for civil society as general. So I warmly invite you to go through and look what this forum does and following summit, where the result of forum is approved by countries or not approved by countries, how these documents look like. During this political forum, countries or states, as I said previously, are agreeing in like where we are now with our development as different countries, and also which commitments we keep and which wording or commitments have to be changed. During this political forum, countries also are giving voluntary national reviews, VNRs. So each year there are different countries that are giving their update from stateside, how they are and where they are in their goals, meeting goals by 2030. And in that sense, participation of civil society as another side is very important, because usually, as we know, what states are talking is not always does not always meet the actual reality. So when we see from our civil society side that, okay, we actually know that state is giving report that everything is like manna from heaven, and we are carrying on all our promises excellently, then civil society could, and I encourage to do shadow report and say that, hey, actually, even if on paper this goal is nicely carried on, actually as civil society sees, it's not even close to the way it is demonstrated by the state. So very important is actually the role of civil society in doing this call. Plus, there are different countries have freedom of civil society different ways. So some countries, civil society representatives cannot actually give a public opinion or public report or public speaking on behalf of their country without getting oppressed. So in that sense, other countries' civil society members can come and lend a hand, so to speak, and speak on behalf of this country. We have seen that this is happening, and this is also like part of this international cooperation that NGOs can do. Why do we as civil society members want to participate in such a thing, or such a that UN forums? And that is easy. One first thing is that you are able to partner and have discussions with many other members or many other countries' civil society members, which means that you can meet, you can make exchange interests, experiences, and learn from each other and get peer support, which is really important, because it's very tiring when you do only your own work in your own space and you see that nothing is actually working. So support from outside is one that we found is very important. And second, as a group together, when we are not speaking on behalf of people who we help, or on behalf of human rights or rights of ecology or nature, then who does? We have to keep states accountable, and that can only be done in the way that we are giving our effort and our words, that how this has to be, how together to make things better and easier. And I totally acknowledge that I'm coming from a country where discussion with state is possible, criticizing state is possible, and there are places that it is actually not so possible. So, but still, it is empowering for myself to go and see, or virtually, to go and see and get this support of others. Plus, as I said, share knowledge. So the next part that I wanted to introduce in that is how to get involved. And as small local NGO, non-governmental organization, usually we look at do we have national level of network, and if we have national level network, or if we have regional level, national level, countries level, like regional in like pan-European. And then you go to see whether you can and want to actually commit to international level as well. So when you are comfortable in working in national level, then for you, your organization, and also your cause is sometimes very useful to try to contribute in international level, as I said. And then depends on which sustainable development goals are your particular interest. You are going to look which groups your umbrella organization can try to take part of. Because not like UN in New York has all 100 or 200 countries, but we have also UN branch in Europe, or ESQA in Middle East or Asia. So in these levels, it is also relatively easy to go and negotiate and see that your state does not mess things up for you. So based on your interest or area of your interest that you are helping or are defending, is I share screen again. You will contact with one of major groups. So in UN level, there are different major groups. I'm participating on our organizations. I'm participating in women's major group. But as you see, children, youth, indigenous people, NGO major group, etc., etc. So there are 9 different major groups that are representing as a whole during this high-level political forum. They are getting input since September previous year. They start having discussions and getting input from local civil society organizations, from local NGOs. And then it is a good way, even if you are not interested in participating in forum itself, it's useful and educational for yourself to participate in preparation work, to get to know people, to see what international agreements are there and what and how you can benefit from it. So that is one that we are working with. And then let me see, women's major group I did not open, but you can easily find when you are looking for women's major group that what we are standing for, how we are working, who are our regional and country representatives. So yes, I think that's kind of all as a brief overview. What we had this year, it was quite big discussion and controversy, as civil society members are not always getting into discussions because states are discussing this document. But we are getting to see different drafts of documents, and when we see that there is very bad wording, or when there is wording that they are trying to get rid of, like I don't know, in our case, they wanted to get rid of comprehensive sexuality education. So this is when this wording or ocean rights or whatever it can be, states often are trying to get rid of it. because then they are not like responsible for implementing this part, because it's we haven't agreed, so it's not in our documents. Therefore, it is like second level or third level issue. Plus, if it disappears, if these terms, if this terminology that has been agreed actually years ago and are in previous documents, but getting erased from these documents, that means that it is kind of states agree that we don't deal with it, therefore we don't need to fund civil society dealing with it, because there is no need for it anymore. Everything is sold, everything is good. So that is what I can see as direct danger to local civil society if we are not keeping an eye and if we are not pushing to keep the wording or to keep the statement with the wording what was already agreed previously. And yes, I think that now is all I can say about political forum. This year the document is not approved yet. We will see in September if and in which wording this document is going to be, and does it hurt civil society or doesn't it hurt civil society? But yes, if I'm thinking as a conclusion for my own long talk is, I strongly encourage you to participate in national and international discussions. And if you have energy and interest, then definitely try to go to some major groups and talk with other members there. It gives you it is very beneficial for yourself and your organization. So it has been for us, definitely. And of course, you see all these other advocates who are doing the same cool work. So in my opinion, it is very valuable experience and as contribution as well. We have tried to change the world. How much does it work? Not sure, but if you don't do it, nothing works. So I think at the moment I would say I gave my overview, and if you have any questions now, Alicia, or any additional like specification, what I haven't said,
I do
then
have a question
maybe.
actually. First of all, thank you so much. This is something that I would consider myself as a regular citizen of a country, and as a regular citizen, I don't think people are well aware about these high-level political forums because, first of all, if I just speak about myself and the country that I live in, India has a big population, and there are lots and lots of people, and there are lots and lots of people who are constantly struggling. I mean, the population of the marginalized communities in India is also pretty high. So because there is a constant struggle to sort of survive in the country, sort of survive in the employment kind of structure that we have, people do not generally think about these kind of things that you spoke about. They are constantly thinking about how to make a living, how to feed myself, how to feed my family. That's all people generally think about. But to they are not really aware of these kind of things which are going on, that the governments, the civil societies are participating in these kind of forums, and this directly or indirectly sort of affects our lives as well. I mean, how if for example one day the something like this is decided that like you said, something was erased from a document, and then the consequence was that the nation thinks that this is not really needed, and that is why the organization which works
Yeah,
towards that gets defunded, correct? So that would sort of have a domino effect, and that would really have a, I think, detrimental effect on a lot of families and a lot of people working towards that, or indirectly it has a lot of effect on the population in general. So I mean, I think people working in the governments, I understand that it is not very easy to sort of reach to each and every person in the country, in the community. But me being a regular citizen wouldn't have known a lot about this until I was a part of this summit. So I think first of all, I believe that this should be like a regular conversation that we should keep having. And civil societies can basically take up insights from the kind of communities they are dealing with. Like, you showed a lot of stakeholders who are involved. There are a lot of organizing teams that you showed in that second presentation that you had. There are stakeholders which have different different parts of the communities, different parts of the country. They should take up the opinions of those people, because and through regular dialogue, that too, and bring it up and take it forward. And I mean, that is how it will work. This is extremely enlightening and thought provoking, what you just said. One thing that I want to ask you is, one thing that really struck with me is that you said that the kind of the country that you are in, it's a little relatively easier to sort of engage with the governments and make dialogue with them, and it is not very easy in third world countries such as ours. At least in India, it is not very easy to have that kind of dialogue. So when professionals such as yourself meet at high level political forums, does any kind of dialogue between in I mean across countries happen? For example, does European countries have a feedback or a commentary on the kind of things happening in India, or do they just speak about things that happen in their country? And is that how it happens, or you sort of have a dialogue about different countries as well, and sort of share insights that this is something that could have been done better in given the political climate, given the economic climate, etc., in another country?
Thank you. Yes, one thing, if you are able to participate, or representative of your umbrella organization is able to be at the place in UN premises when this political forum happens. So one good thing that you can get out of it, if nothing else, is that you run onto your politicians who in your own country you are never be able to reach to, because they are eating in the same cafe. And you are brave enough, you go and say that, hello, I'm Alicia, I'm from NGO this and that, and is it possible to have a little chat? And here's my card, could we please contact back in India? So that is the best part of to utilize your trip to your trip there. Another thing what we have done, and what we did also during this forum, I participated in 3 meetings with ambassadors of different countries. So I, of course, looked like, okay, I met Moldovan because it's European, Spain, I think it was Spain, and also German. You could do the same because there are like NGO stakeholders, NGO major groups are trying to organize meetings with ambassadors who are situated in there, in order to give our message to them. Like Romania was one. With Romanian ambassador, we were discussing, or we were talking that, Women's Major Group is really concerned that this is going to be erased. Could you please help to support in European Union discussions these points, that these cannot be erased? So that's the same what you can do also when you're there. If you're not there, or if you're getting this political document where wording of what government promised to do is written down, then you can go to your local community, your county, and say that, hey, your state has agreed that we are going on with this goal, number 4, giving education to everybody, equal education to everybody. And that means, what have you done? How do you fulfill this promise? That is where this high, unreachable for our mind documents that are very bureaucratic are getting actually useful in community level. So you are taking this piece of paper and saying, our government had signed this. How are you meeting this commitment? Where is the money to meet this commitment? To build bathrooms, or to give girls education, or to do whatever, right? So this is how you can actually engage, like in 2 ways. First, when a place, meeting politicians there, make your face like known, and then later contact, or take these papers and just hit them with his papers.
Sounds really nice actually, because I've actually seen videos when politicians from our country actually go to foreign forums like these. I see that the natives living over there, for example, if somebody were to go to the United States of America for a meeting, and if the Indians living in USA were there, they would have an easier access to meet those politicians than we would have over here. That's always there. So yeah, this sounds really. I mean, these are all truths, and we know about this, but it just we just need to hear it from somebody like you to sort of register it in our minds.
But that is important to know, like first to know in advance that if you feel that your cause is not met in your country at all, if you are able to raise money to travel there, then through these major groups to understand how to get there, and sometimes these major groups also are giving stipendiums for third world countries, definitely to go and give their voice, show their voice, make them available. So it is very important that you will figure out whether you can do it. And then, yes, totally. Some NGO from the village with very important cause can actually end up in New York, can run onto politicians. Or if you really cannot, then yes, be online and try to find some ally, some Indian who is in New York and who can participate. Could you please do it for us? And could you please report back, or let's have video calls and see how it is. So that is the way how we can make our voices heard.
Absolutely, collaboration is key. I absolutely agree. And yeah, I don't think we have any questions from the audience. I think this was the one question that people had raised, and thank you so much for shedding light on that. And yeah, I will take some time to register this and seep this in, but this was amazing, and this speaks volumes about resilience and striving towards doing something which benefits not just myself but also the community at large. And thank you so much for enlightening me personally. I mean, this was really good. Thank you so much.